Fine, so I'll start on my left here with Cynthia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Cynthia Dick, General Manager of Administrative Services for ACRD.
Ann Siddle with the Alberni District Fall Fair.
Helen Zadetti with the Pacific Rim School District.
Anna Lewis, and with the Alberni Valley Food Security Society.
I'm Wayne Smith. I'm a local farmer and a director on the Farmers Institute.
Good afternoon, Pat Deacon, City of Port Alberni Economic Development.
Hello, Cecilia Addy with Port Alberni Port Authority and Dock Plus Food Hub.
Sarah Reimer, local farmer, president and market manager of the Spirit Square Farmers Market.
Serena Manhas, planner 1 at the Alberni Clayoquot Regional District.
Good afternoon, Aklama Penikote. I'm the Alberni Clayoquot Regional District Director for Sprout Lake on this committee. I am an Agricultural Advisory Committee rep. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amy Needham. I'm the Sustainability Planner for the Alberni Clayoquot Regional District.
Kristen, you're up.
Kristen Cardonahue, Administrative Assistant for the ACRD.
Thank you. And I'll go on my screen here. Fred, please.
Good afternoon, Fred Boyko, Electoral Area Director for Beaufort.
Thanks, Fred. Katie.
I'm Katie Miles. I'm with the Coastal Foods Roundtable. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Katie. Lisa.
Lisa Aylard, Stonehaven Farm, right in the middle of haying season right now. Thanks.
Amber.
Amber Lamb, I have a small mixed farm out in Beaver Creek.
Wonderful, thank you. And our second item here is approval of agenda. So this will be from our meeting in March. Oh, agenda for today, sorry. We're going to be looking for a motion to approve the agenda today. And Anna seconded, thank you. And all voting ADC members? Carried, thank you. Does anybody have any declarations or conflicts of interest for this meeting today? Seeing none. Okay, minutes from our last meeting held in April. We'll be looking for the motion to adopt the minutes from the ADC meeting, April 15th. So moved. Thank you, Sarah. And Anna Lewis second. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So now we are going to go into presentations. We have two today scheduled for our meeting. And first, I would like to welcome Cynthia Dick to speak. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I was asked to present today on the AVICC and UBCM resolution processes, as it has been discussed at the ADC on a number of occasions and resolutions have been submitted on the past. So just to provide clarity on what is the process and what are the deadlines. So AVICC and UBCM are both formed to provide a common voice for local governments. I should also note that I did provide a report for information that is in your agenda package beginning on page 10. So just to reference. So the ACRD is a member of both the AVICC and UBCM, and it is a common voice for local governments. As I mentioned, they do have their separate policies and procedures, which are outlined in the report, and both also host their annual general meeting and convention, with the AVICC being in April and the UBCM being in September. So the AVICC does go by their executive policies, which outlines the resolution process. I would also like to note that the ACRD Board of Directors did direct staff to provide a letter to AVICC requesting that they review their executive policies and resolution process, because at the last convention, they found that there were several resolutions that did not get addressed. So just looking to review and see if there's a more efficient process where resolutions and topics of discussion can be discussed in a timely manner. So the one that was submitted by the committee to request the priority boarding for BC Ferries, that one was after the deadline and was going to be an off the floor resolution. But it is my understanding that they did not get through the resolutions and it was unable to be presented as an off the floor resolution. However, we do still have the option to submit to UBCM, although they do recommend that it goes through the area association first, and then the ones that are submitted to the area associations and are endorsed at their convention will automatically be sent to UBCM. So even though we did not get to go through the AVICC process for that resolution specifically, it was able to be submitted to UBCM before the June 15th deadline. So for both of the resolution processes, they do require that they are board endorsed resolutions. So it does need to go through our internal ACRD process. And we do just recommend that each committee is aware of the timelines for submitting these reports to the board for consideration, especially knowing the meeting schedule and knowing because the deadlines don't normally fall within the summer months. We do only have the one regular scheduled board meeting during July and August. But if you are aware of the timelines that are provided on page 2, for AVICC, the deadline to submit resolutions usually falls in February. So we would recommend to submit the resolutions in January because staff will need the time to prepare the resolution as well as the background document information that needs to be provided. And for the UBCM, as I mentioned, they do recommend that the resolutions be first put forward to the Area Association of AVICC. So again, the same timeline, but if for any reason they were unable to be put forward to the Area Association, the annual deadline is June 15 to submit resolutions. At UBCM, they members also have an opportunity to submit meeting requests, and that is to meet with the premier, the ministers, as well as the ministry staff. And usually we do submit a meeting request for the topics for the resolutions that have been submitted as well. The deadlines to submit the meeting request for ministry or for the premier and ministers is July. And the deadline to submit meeting requests for ministry, agency, commission, and corporation staff is August. And again, as I mentioned, the convention is held in September. So those are just the two, I guess, the main avenues for submitting the resolutions or meeting requests, but we do have a number of committees who request from the board to submit letters to the different ministries if needed as well. So and we've had similar ones like with health, and those were submitted outside of the process as well as to the UBCM, and then a separate meeting is scheduled to discuss. And happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Cynthia. Does anybody have any questions? Me?
Not so much a question, but just with the resolutions, AVICC is for our area of Vancouver Island and coastal communities. When resolutions go to UBCM, they may kick it back if it's specific to an area and not for the whole of British Columbia. So our resolution may come back with no recommendation to go back to AVICC. I know that AVICC executive, because I continue to be the past president for this term, that we offer the executive to attend any meetings with ministers or staff to discuss your resolutions that are coming forward or any other issues.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot to mention that for both AVICC and UBCM. So they request that resolutions are not specific to a one member local government, but it be for all. And also that we do encourage to submit earlier, be at least a couple of weeks before the deadline, because we usually do back and forth with their representative to make sure that the resolution is in good order and that they can put it forward to the agent or convention.
Thank you. I have Anna next and then Fred.
I just want to say I'm so excited to see this because for the last 10 years, we're always like, and when's the deadline? When's this? So this is awesome to have this 2-pager. It should be laminated and it should come out at every meeting or something. It's great. Thank you.
Thanks. Fred, you got your hand up?
Yeah, just a quick clarification question. So has that motion been submitted to BCM or has the board decided not to submit it? Just yes or no?
It's been submitted.
Thank you.
Perfect. Amy?
Just for the committee's knowledge, so coming up, our next meeting will be in November. In the agenda package that goes out for the November meeting, there's going to be a request for ABICC resolutions to go forward. Hopefully, the pre-thought can go into that discussion at the meeting and finalization at the meeting for what wants to be brought forward to the board meeting in December so that they can be submitted before the January deadline.
Wonderful. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions for Cynthia? Seeing none, we will go to Serena Manhas, Planner 1 for the regional district regarding Area D, Sprout Lake for the OCP introduction and engagement.
Thank you. I'm just about to share my screen. Great. So thank you so much for having me as a presenter today. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to introduce the Sprout Lake and Area Official Community Plan Update Project today, as well as discuss its impact on agriculture in the community. So before continuing, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that this meeting is being conducted on the traditional lands of the Sushot and Huichesset First Nations, and we are thankful for being allowed to live, work, and play on your lands. So what exactly is an official community plan, or an OCP for short? An official community plan is a policy document which includes a statement of objectives that guide decisions on planning and land use management. It establishes a community vision over a short and long-term period and helps determine where people will live, work, play, and how they move around through its influence on land use management. And OCPs, due to their policies, also shape how the community looks and feels, and it influences day-to-day experiences and quality of life. So the ACRD has a total of 6 OCPs, 1 for each of its electoral areas, and they will all be undergoing comprehensive updates. For right now, we are only in the process of updating the OCPs for Sprout Lake and South Long Beach. And because the OCP establishes a long-term community vision, it's really important to us that we are engaging with local First Nations, community members, and organizations to ensure that the OCP is reflective of their needs. So to talk about agriculture in Sprout Lake and area, so agriculture is an important topic to explore because we can support agricultural practices through policy development in the OCP. So for example, we can have policies which increase education and training, expand agricultural land use. And we also previously engaged with community members in an OCP survey on any barriers that they experience with agriculture. So we found that the majority of survey respondents actually reported that they do not experience barriers, and that was 65.9% of survey respondents, whereas 34.1% of survey respondents said that they did. And common barriers cited included water access during drought, lack of processing facilities in their community, regulations and wildlife damage, for example, deers eating crops. And so this is an image of the OCP plan area. So this is the area where the OCP will have influence over. And so it comprises of approximately 36% of electoral area D, and it includes most of Great Central Lake. And it's important to note that the OCP has very limited influence over privately managed forest lands, as well as crown lands. And also it includes around 2,180 hectares of agricultural land reserve, which means that it has the most agricultural land reserve out of all of the ACRD electoral areas, with the exception of Beaufort. So to talk about where we currently are at the project, we are currently on phase 3 vision and goals. So we finished phase 1 project initiation and phase 2 background research. And the estimated completion for the project right now is winter 2026. So what we did in phase 1 is that we had a communications and engagement plan presented to the board of directors on January 29th. And this highlighted the engagement activities that we were planning to do, for example, pop-up events, open houses and workshops. And it also has details on the project advertising, so newspaper ads, radio ads. And we also launched the project on Let's Connect ACRD. So Let's Connect ACRD is our online engagement platform. And so we have a project page over there, and people can subscribe for project updates. And we also include all of our important documents on this page. And you can also ask staff questions through it as well. And so we also sent project introduction letters to First Nations, organizations, municipalities, and agencies. And we had an introduction pop-up event on February 26th at the Sechot Market. So this was our very first in-person opportunity to introduce the project to the community. And so we were really promoting our project page, answering questions that people had, and getting some initial input for the project. So for phase 2 background research, we had the OC Pizza Party discussion guide and handbook, which was launched on the project page in February 2025. We call it an OC Pizza Party handbook because you are encouraged to answer the questions in the handbook with a group of people. And then we reimburse you for the food. So you can host your own little pizza party while you answer questions. And submissions for this handbook were accepted until April 2025. A background research report was received by the board of directors on March 26, 2025. And the report is the foundation for the OCP update. So it highlights key information on the current conditions of the community and also the existing policy framework that will inform the priorities and focus areas of the OCP. So it has a lot of demographic information for the overall electoral area. And it also summarizes some important plans to take into consideration while we update the OCP. And it's also posted on our project page, so you can read it if you would like. So moving on to the current phase that we are on, phase 3 vision and goals. We had an OCP engagement survey, which is available on the project page and at the ACRD office from April to June 2025. And we received a total of 72 survey submissions. And so the survey asked questions on a wide variety of topics, for example, parks and recreation, housing and affordability, community resilience. And then we also had an open house and workshop that was held on May 8th, 2025 at the Sprout Lake Community Hall. This asked the same questions as the survey, but we had some interactive display boards for people to write on. And we also had a workshop portion, which included table topic discussions. And the event had 36 attendees. We had a What We Heard pop-up event on May 24th at Dallas Cafe. So what we did there is that we summarized the key themes that we found from community engagement so far, brought it to the community and asked for further feedback. And we also promoted the survey during this event. We had a community hall meeting with Central Lake Road residents, also known as Little Germany residents, on June 26th. And so we got some input about what future direction they would like to see for their community. And there was also a Great Central Lake pop-up event held on June 30th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Great Central Lake Park Resort and Marina, where we were asking some broad questions such as, what would you like your community to look like in the future? What is missing in your community? And so input from community engagement will be used to create the OCP draft vision and goals, which will be presented to the board of directors. And so the vision is a statement about the community's desired future, and the goals will guide the community's growth and development towards the vision. And so I have some questions here. We don't have time to actually discuss it, but we will be sending out the presentation slides because we would love to receive your input, because this can help us draft agricultural policies. So if you could submit your feedback to ocp@acrd.bc.ca, we will make sure that we email these questions to you, and we appreciate any engagement. And if you could please send it by July 31st, that would be greatly appreciated. So does anyone have any questions or comments?
Yeah. Okay, thank you for your present. Actually, I do have one question, and it's not specific to the OCP to Sprout Lake, but I know when the zoning bylaw update got put aside to do the OCPs first, it was estimated that it would take 36 months for all 6 OCPs. Are we still on track for that 36 months?
I would say approximately around 36 months, maybe a few months extra, but that's the plan. So the plan is to complete 2 of the official community plans concurrently. And it's a period of 2 years around, estimated to complete 2 of them concurrently. So around that amount of time.
Okay, thank you. And Penny?
Thank you. So the agricultural, can you go back to the questions, please?
Yes.
Thank you. So agriculture includes fisheries. So is that going to be incorporated in this also? And what about forestry? Will they be questioned as well?
Yes, we can also ask questions about the fisheries and future engagement as well. That's very important to bring up.
So the questions that are included here for the committee's consideration, they are tailored to agriculture, but if there's anything that you feel was missed that you want to bring up, that is the central email address for all of the official community plan updates that are going to be happening. And you're welcome to submit feedback and information at any time to that email address.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm excited to see this going, and I was happy to see the electoral area director out at Great Central in the heat doing the surveys. So kudos for the outreach that is taking place. I think, and I'm grateful that she brought up both fisheries and forests. Fisheries because you know, although we're having a banner year for sockeye, you know, we continue to be concerned about water levels and the impact on the temperature in the rivers. So it's important to look after that. And also a lot of our agricultural class land is under trees, or it is treed, not cleared and not ready for food production. So it's important to take a look at those 2 aspects. So thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Does anybody else have any questions or comments for the presentation?
No, I know that the Alberni Valley Food Security Society, we submitted a letter and received a response right away. So just really happy with the interactions. And although we may not meet with you just due to my board, but it's just wonderful that you're on it. I just took a picture of the questions because I actually have a board meeting tomorrow, and I'm happy to see that deadline of July 31st because we'll do some brainstorming and potentially come back with some more ideas.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Serena, for presenting today. And we will be moving on to correspondence for information now. Thanks. Did anybody have anything they wanted to pull out from the agenda for today's meeting to talk about from correspondence for information? Okay, do we have anybody that wants to then move the motion underneath for correspondence for information?
I would happily move that motion. Oh, I was talking about the letter from the HRD, but yeah, sure. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
jumping
okay,
ahead
so
to the
Anna's
next
going to
thing on
move
the
that
agenda,
the
but
EDC receive
yes.
items A to F for information. Thanks, Anna.
And Ann will second it.
Thanks, Anne, for seconding. And all in favor? So moved. Thank you. Penny?
So the farm market nutrition program, that's not happening this year? It is, okay. Okay. You have to use your microphone.
Yes, it was renewed and only for 1 year.
So is this something that we should be bringing to UBCM or the ministry?
A direction was given through the ADC and subsequently through the board for a letter to be drafted in support of the funding for the program, and that has been sent off to the Minister of Health, as public health is in charge of that particular program. No response from Minister of Health.
Can you, so this is where the funding comes from for this program, I'm assuming, and I think that then maybe we should be following up and making sure that we have a response before UBCM, so that if there has been none, that we could actually follow up there. Thanks.
Do we need to make that a motion, Amy? No?
I'm not a part of this, so I can't make the motion.
I would make that motion.
Can we, okay, can we specify what the motion will be though,
Yeah,
please?
I need to
So
more
the
clarity.
motion would be that staff will follow up on the letter to the ministry regarding support for the market nutrition program going forward in the future. And if we haven't had a response by the time we go to in September when UBCM is, that we ask the participants at UBCM to contact the ministry appropriate and ask for support there.
Okay. Yes, but I agree with that. Totally.
Kristen, you good there?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, and then I've got Anne. And then Sarah seconding, okay. Okay, so if we're confident in that, yeah, okay, and all in favor? Motion carried, thank you. Okay, we are going now into request for decisions. And we've got one here on the agenda today, and Amy, you're going to speak to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So all pertinent information is laid out in the report that is drafted, the request for decision report, but I'm just going to go over some of the salient points for the committee's consideration. So Farm to School BC is an initiative that promotes a lot of educational projects, school gardens, nutrition, information, great programs like that in all educational institutions across BC. So it says here they've got hands-on support for over 150 schools in all 60 school districts, including independent and First Nation schools. This is a long-standing and far-reaching group of people that do a lot of really great work. Locally, the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District has partnered with organizations such as the Alberni Valley Food Security Society to run programs such as educational programs in local schools. Recently, we're successful collaborators on a TD Friends of the Environment grant that saw dozens of edible and medicinal plants go into 3 different school gardens in School District 70. It's just a great program that has done a lot of good work both locally and across BC. Unfortunately, the Ministry of Health did not fund Farm to School BC in the 2025-2026 school year. And so as a result, they are operating in a limited capacity at the time and are searching for other funding opportunities. The request from staff is that the Agricultural Development Committee consider asking the ACRD Board of Directors to direct staff to write a letter of support for Farm to School BC to the Minister of Health, asking that funding be reinstated for the next school year. Happy to take any questions.
Sarah, go for it.
Just out of curiosity, was there any, did they ever give any reason why funding's denied or not given?
There was no reason that was listed on the Farm to School BC website, and there hasn't been any official news release that I saw from the Ministry of Health on the subject.
Helen, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to let the committee know that the school district was requested, made the same, it was requested of the school district to make the funding reinstatement request of the ministry. So we did pass a motion to send the letter. So a letter was sent off to the ministry and don't really heard back yet. Yeah, so I agree totally. I think it's a great idea and I think it's a wonderful program. Seen it in work. I see the student ability to learn and everything. So I support this motion.
I'm such a keener. This is the one I really wanted to make the motion for. And I know Tanya's timeline, but just again, like I've done so much stuff with Farm to School BC in the schools. Like Candace just finished doing 12 educational components in the various schools through the TD grant. But it's been like years that we've been doing work in the schools and with the Farm to School. Now we gave Josie Osborne a letter in person at a barbecue about 3 weeks ago, and then followed up with an email, and it was about food security and the intersection of climate change. This was highlighted as something that should be brought back along, but I can tell you right now, speaking with the food hub coordinator for Island Health, the amount of cuts is phenomenal. The amount of money that they thought they would be able to release is not being released. So that's yeah, there's a lot. Keep the letters coming, and the Farm to School BC, like it's one of the best resources out there, I think, in terms of education. And I'm making the motion. Yes, Anna Lewis on behalf of the Security Society will stop being long-winded and make that motion.
Thank you, Sarah. We've got a mover, seconder, and all in favor? Perfect, motion passed. Go ahead, Benny.
So is this something the regional district should be following up at UBCM also?
It is across the province. It shouldn't be punted back to the ICC. I mean, the Public Health Association of BC, which manages Farm to School BC, they work across the province.
And I just like to say more people presenting the same issue. It's just going to be more powerful, I think, and we're all in unison. So I think it's a great idea to do that.
Penny?
So at UBCM and AVICC, and there is an electoral area director specifically on UBCM that we could send this for her to bring forward through the EAs of BC electoral areas, so that there's support. And I'm sure that if we're missing the money, the communities are as well. So this should be sent forward to the EA director for UBCM.
Amy, should this be made into a motion again, just like the last time? Okay, and I know, Penny, that you can't make the motion, but do we have another ADC committee member that would like to make that motion? And correct me if I'm wrong, that if we don't hear back about this from this letter going out, that it's brought up at UBCM from the ECRD follow up.
And to the EA director with UBCM.
Do we have somebody that would like to make the motion?
Sorry, mine was more of a question. Do we not want to also ask that the ECRD, this committee ask the ECRD, have they already done this? Draft a similar, sorry, summertime, my apologies. I think I can make the motion, right? Okay, I'm gonna make the motion that the Agricultural Economic Development Committee requests that the I believe Lakewood Regional District Board of Directors follow up on the response to the letter that we were currently just made a motion for. If they don't support it, to press to UBCM. Penny's
Sorry.
gonna help with the motion, thank you.
Sorry. Mid-motion, we could actually send this to the electoral area director now. I think that would give it some more motion.
Okay, do you want a second motion now, or are we gonna vote on this first one? No, vote, no, are you not making a second motion on the one you? Oh, this one, okay. You guys are all over the map here, okay. Let's rein everybody back in. So on the motion to follow up with the UBCM EA director and possibly the ministry at UBCM regarding this motion. Thank you. So we've got the motion made. Did we have a seconder? Sarah, thank you for seconding. Is there any comments or questions? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carried. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, we're moving into the report section of our agenda. And I've got Amy first from the ACRD.
I pre-submitted my report to the committee for review, so I'm not going to go through it here because we are on a tight timeline, and this is why we pre-submit reports. If anybody has any questions about anything in my report, I am happy to answer them.
Any questions for Amy? Straightforward. Okay. City of, oh, sorry, Penny, you go for it.
Sorry, I'm always about water planning. Just wondering where we are with that. Progress of the Alberni Valley Agriculture Water Plan continues with the map data. Just wondering where we're at with that, because I'm always worried about the drought situation, and I keep bringing that forward to the regional district. Sprout Lake has, the regional district has a water flood policy. We've done that study, but we didn't follow it up with the drought study. And I think that to balance things out, we really need to do both. So is there any room in this that we are getting that kind of information back?
So the agricultural water plan project is specific to agriculture in the Alberni Valley and water for growing and processing of food. So it's not a benchmark study that covers all industries. It doesn't cover, residential. It doesn't cover all water needs. It's not that broad. So if a study like that was to be considered, then I imagine it would be appropriate for the board to give staff direction to start looking for funding sources to achieve that kind of level of a study, because it is quite broad and that is quite a large scale study that you're considering. And if that direction comes to the sustainability planner through the board, then we can start looking for funding avenues to pursue that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, City of Port Alberni, Pat.
Apologies for not pre-submitting a report. Yeah. Several things, as has already been noted, provincial funding for programs is being cut right, left, and center in every area. And a review of provincial programs is taking place, and programs that have been funded in the past may be funded again, but it's likely that the amount of funds that they'll have available for distribution will be dramatically reduced, as has been noted. Second thing is about, I think shortly after the last Ag Development Committee meeting, Cascadia Seaweed, who are a tenant in the Dock Plus, reached out, and they had large quantities of seaweed biomass that they didn't really know what to do with. So I reached out to Amy and said, are any of the ag groups interested in receiving it? And I know, Anna, you were very diligent in picking up huge totes for application in various areas. I myself took a few pails and spread it on the garden, and I am truly amazed at the growth and the bounty of virtually every plant that it was applied to, every bed. And it wasn't a clinical trial. It should have been, this half is getting seaweed, that half is not. But Cascadia are looking for new customers. And if there are any testimonials that can come forward, even without clinical trials, they would be grateful to receive them and just have them for consideration. Thirdly, the funding, we are now allowed to announce the funding that we did get for a business case for marine life and cellulose material, biomass business innovation centers. So we will be doing that, and we'll be looking for comments from the committee about the terms of the request for proposal. And then part of the reason I didn't pre-submit our report was that we were very busy working with Deloitte Restructuring in trying to make sure that we had successful applications for the properties owned by the Sand Group. One of those, company called ERA for IGV Housing, who will be taking over the Sand Reman facility, which is the big plant beside the paper mill, have another line of business, which is food production, vertically integrated food production. Most of their work is being done in Great Britain. I have talked to them about applying that here, or taking a look at how we might apply that here after they get their manufacturing. It's a modular housing manufacturing operation up and running. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Does anybody have any questions for Pat? Sarah?
So just to understand, on the Cascadia seaweed, is the primary business using it for fertilizer in the garden, or is that a waste product they're hoping to sell, or are they trying to get rid of it to the community so they don't have to deal with it?
They are looking for markets for the biomass. The primary product has been the liquid that they extract from the biomass, and then that's formulated according to the crop. Most of it is going to California, or at least for the time being. And so if you're growing corn, it has one kind of formulation. If you're growing strawberries, it has a different kind. But they have in the past been left with the spent seaweed. Salt is extracted from it. It's just big gooey gobs of goodness. So they are looking for markets for that. no, they're wanting to monetize it. Yeah.
Go ahead. So Amy got a hold of me, it would have been mid-January, and from January until I wrecked the shocks on my farm truck, I was picking up seaweed. I was organizing all kinds of folks to come by the Dock Plus to pick it up. But when they switched to this, when they started grinding the seaweed on the boats, suddenly the mass was incredibly heavy and it was problematic. And yeah, anyway, so I thought, 6 months of arranging this for them, just because I'm a good person and I'm getting the benefit of some nice seaweed is enough. But they did say that for this year, they're just happy to get rid of it. For next year, they will be looking to market it. I don't know if they bumped that up or not, because otherwise they're having to pay to haul it. They do have someone that will come from Duncan if they can secure the whole load, and they would come every week and pick everything up. They have a compost business. That's not a good idea. And that's why I was like, no, I will make sure it finds a home in Alberni Farms and Gardens. Yes, but it is lovely. Yeah, and soon they should be able to sell the liquid fertilizer in BC. They can sell it in California and Alberta, not yet BC. They're waiting for the CFI paperwork.
If I may just comment on that, they secured approval to sell the product in California in 90 days, and they have been over a year. It's a year and a few months now, going through the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to sell the same product in Canada.
But it is a biomass, so it's the residual seaweed that's left over. It used to be finely pressed and be more of a dry. Now it's a pail it out in your 5-gallon pails out of a super heavy tote. But it is full of all kinds of micro and macronutrients.
Thank you. I've got Lisa next and then Amy.
Yeah, just a note with the exiting of Sand Group and no longer the availability of sawdust for bedding for local farmers. That's going to be something a lot of us are going to be trying to figure out for this fall. So if anybody's got a lead on something that we could have bedding, preferably not cedar, because that tends to take the nitrogen out of soils if we spread that out on the field. So just an FYI. Thanks.
Thanks, Lisa. Amy?
I just wanted to put another thing out there, Anna, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were also, Cascadia was also considering utilizing this biomass product for animal feed. They wanted to look into if any farmers have chickens or cows or anything like that wanted to do a trial with feeding to their animals and give it a go. They were looking for someone to partner with to give it a trial on a limited basis, kind of on a supplement basis. I don't think it was meant to take the place of 100% feed.
Yes, Lisa and I did meet with the president of Cascadia, and he was going to follow up with paperwork. He was reminded twice that he should send us those trial studies, and we haven't seen any of the documentation. And I'm not going to promote something that there's documentation for, but that ball is in their court. We said the Farmers Institute could put it out there to the membership, but won't do it without a little bit of more input on their end.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to School District 70. Ellen?
Thank you. I too, Pat, did not provide a report in advance. I apologize. Just recap a few things that are going on for the last few months. Always remind everyone to go to the Pacific Rim School District website to get the update on what's going on. That's much more thorough than me. Policies are on there, current tenders for services, employment. There's lots of daycare openings coming up. So that's all on there. So I always recommend that you go there. Stay on the daycare. We've got 2 new daycares opening up at Quina and Wood. One is prefab, so it'll be open in a few months. Quite amazing. Whereas the other one's been like a year and a half, I think. So you're going to see, we're probably all going to see more prefabs in school districts and so on. Grad went really well. Budget was passed. It was tricky, but they did a real good, our secretary treasurer and our accounting department did a great job and keeping our services running well for our students. So that's wonderful. Learning on the Land was very successful. And the students made jam and they provided some to the trustees, which was lovely. So really like that that program kind of falls in with what we're meant to do here. So it's still going really well, and our students are re-engaging. That was one of the points of that program. So it's working well. And I mentioned that the Board of Education trustees passed the motion to reach out to the minister and Josie Osborne in regards to the farm to school and reinstate that funding. And we and the trustees attended the Spring Vista, which is a Vancouver Island School Trustees Association in Souk, and Victoria hosted it. And we had a Flourish, which is the oh my gosh, sorry. Didn't do great notes. It's like Nourish Cowichan. They provide food for the schools in Souk, and they did a whole presentation. It came up at our Farm to School School Food Network Society, and how they want to share that information. So some of the people know about, some of you probably know about this, and it's they have a whole plan and package so to share. So I think if there are any other organizations that want to take that sort of thing on anywhere in the province, it's just wonderful. And I love that they've made it and want to share it. I think it's fabulous. Our district is currently using Nourish, and the EJ Dunn Hub is where they've got the, we've got a chef now there making foods that through Nourish, lunch and snacks throughout the district is a kind of variation of how that works in like on the West Coast versus the Valley and Banville. But that's going well, really high. People love it. So more demand than we expected. So that's, I believe the students are enjoying the food. We've had some when we do our school tours, and it seems great, trying to give students opportunity to try different foods too, like kale, which is not my favorite all the time either, but they're expanding their palette, is that the right word? I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And before I ask if anybody has any questions for Helen, I was just going to add that I noticed on the school district website that they've got an auction going on right now. They're getting rid of a lot of coolers and freezers, like deep freezes or stand up, if any, but like I feel like that would pertain to the group here. So check out the school district website for that online auction. Does anybody else have any questions or comments regarding the school district? No. Okay, then we're going to jump into, Kaylee's not here with Island Health. Did she submit anything to you, Amy? No. Okay. And then Amy is going to speak to a report for Tom Waddell from the Ministry of Ag.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Tom, unfortunately, is he's our regional, not unfortunately, he's our regional agrologist. Very fortunately, he's our regional agrologist, but unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. So he submitted his regrets, and he wanted me to highlight one particular thing that I didn't even hear about yet. So I'm really glad that he submitted it. So the Investment Agriculture Foundation is one of the primary ways that grant funding comes down through the agricultural community. So I always recommend that people sign up for their newsletters to hear about grant funding opportunities. Some of them go through local governments and for First Nations and for not-for-profits, but there are farmer-supported ones there too. And one of the ones that just got launched, or it's going to be launching on July 18th, is an addition to the Agricultural Water Infrastructure Program. This is a huge program. It's like $100 million for agricultural water infrastructure. It's the main way that we're funding the Alberni Valley Agricultural Water Plan. And they have added an activity that is eligible for funding. And the activity that's been added is professional consultation services that help with facilitation, project management, strategic planning, conflict resolution, or general assessment of water supply and demand. So if the catch is that you have to prove at least 2 collaborators, because the province has been very open about the fact they're looking for collaborative work, not for people to be doing studies or anything like that to do with regional water governance in a vacuum. They're looking for people to collaborate. So this is something that Tom brought up. He included a link, and that's been forwarded to administration for inclusion in the minutes. So if you do want to take a look at eligible, ineligible sort of activities for that activity 8 in stream 3 of the Agricultural Water Infrastructure Fund, then that will all be included in the minutes, but I did want to highlight it.
Thank you.
When you say 2 or 3 collaborators, is it like a mix across the board, or is it like must have an academic, must have a First Nations, blah, blah?
As far as I could tell, there was no restrictions on the collaborators. They even indicated specifically that you could include the Ministry of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship itself as a collaborator if you have contacts there that will collaborate with you on a project. So it's from what I could tell at a quick glance, which is basically what I had time to do before the meeting, it's quite open. But it is something that supports the intentions paper for the watershed security, like the watershed security intentions paper. It's basically stated flat out, they're looking for collaborative regional water governance. Everybody working together for the good of the watershed to make sure that the watershed health is held paramount and all the users are working together. So this seems like something directly that is going to support it. And it's up to $100,000 maximum with no matching funds required. It's 100% funded. So.
Thank you. Anna?
Is the ACRD planning on pursuing this one as an add-on to the current water project?
The sustainability planner has not received direction either way at this time, considering I just heard about it approximately 35 minutes ago. But if that's a direction that the board wants to go in, then perhaps direction will be forthcoming.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I'm sure if there's more questions, we can always reach out to Tom too, because he might have more information. Right? Perfect. Okay. We're going to move right along here to the Farmers Institute. Wayne.
I don't know if Lisa has anything to add to this right now, but we have not had a meeting, the Farmers Institute, for a while. Of course, time of year, we're all busy, and we're got a heck of a pile of stuff we got to get to pretty quick. The pile is getting bigger, and so we do have that need. But I think one thing I'd like to bring up right now is, and of course you're all aware, we just lost one of our probably legends in as a farmers advocate in Bill Thompson just recently here. So you know, I think this really plays into the food security thing, right? For younger farmers like myself, when I got started, Bill was one of the mentors and places we could go to get information. And so it's a big loss for us in the community to have that, you know, and he really was. I did manage to go to a few events over in the mainland through the Agriculture Advisory committee when we did some stuff over in the mainland. And Bill was well known around the province. He had friends everywhere. He'd been a major advocate and a voice in supporting farmers. And so, you know, it is a big loss. So, but I guess the major thing I'm a little bit want to bring to this is that that's a major farm here in the Val Burney Ground, one of the bigger ones, but and I just kind of worried about who's going to continue with that process. It's like there's rumors going around as to what's going to happen to that herd. I'm not sure, but I hope it can stay. Because we do need the cattle here. We do have a lot of feed around, even from last year, hay. And so if we have another couple hundred acres of hay available on the market, it's just more, it'll drive the price down. As you know, farmers are up against the high cost of farming in order to produce that hay. So hay prices are kind of where they need to be, or where they need to be at a high level in order to make it profitable. So to have too much hay around is not a good thing. So, unless somebody, can maintain animals to eat it, it's just another big loss to the community as far as food security. One thing I'd like to, in another matter, and I'd like to thank Amy because she sent out an invitation here a while back to a field day on soil management and water capabilities. I went to that. And that was really good. I wanted to thank her for sending that out. It was really good, for me anyhow. I thought I knew it all, but guess what? To actually see this being done, it was quite an education for me. So I think we need more of that. Yeah, thanks for that. I can't think of anything else from the Farmers Institute that I can add right now, unless Lisa's got something out there that.
That's great, Wayne, thanks.
Wonderful. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Wayne? Yep, go ahead.
Wayne or Lisa, I don't know who can speak to this, but I was just wondering, kind of along the vein of what Wayne had been talking about with the loss of Farmer Bill to the community, if the Farmers Institute is considered holding a farm succession like workshop for their members to bring someone in. I think you had one a while ago. Just wondering if you're thinking down the line of having one of those workshops where you can talk about farm succession and how to do it successfully.
I think we did one, was it a couple of years ago, Lisa? And I think it's about time to do another one now because, I hate to admit it, but I'm getting up there too, where I got to start thinking about this stuff. So that's the only answer I can come up with right now. But yeah, we do need to get back to that one. Because I think we all get caught with it sometimes without keep planning.
Yeah, I think that's correct. We should probably do another one. We did, I think it was only just last year, but quite a few people utilized the services of the people in Courtenay about farm succession. But yeah, this is simply a reminder that we really need to have those things in place. Thanks.
Thanks, Lisa. Okay, moving on to the fall fair from Anne. And I see that you did provide a report, and here you go. Fly at her.
Okay, I did provide a report, but it was very brief because I was on holidays and kind of typing it on the fly. Anyway, I'd just like to elaborate a bit on it. So the first item was the grant and aid. We're most grateful for the support of being able to do a little bit more with our promotion this year within the education area. We're working with Nancy Wilmot right now to build some videos. She's like to use the videos that are presently on ACRD agriculture site and add to it. She's got a few she's already done and she'd like to incorporate those. And yeah, I think it'll be good. We want to put it in on TV screen in a rest area with some hay bales so people can just sit around and chat and perhaps take in these videos. I know typically in that building that there is the ACRD, AV Food Security and the Farmers Institute, but others are most welcome. Just let us know so we can make sure there's enough tables set up. An area. We have the Fiber Guild back this year, as well as hopefully some 4-H displays that we can put into the middle, display boards that we can put into the middle of the building. I have yet to hear back from Patty. We did offer a space for the 4-H kids to build these displays on the fairground, and I built one of our buildings, but they didn't take us up on it. So I have no idea where that stands. Go ahead, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll just say, and in Patty's report, they did do display boards and they actually, some of them went to the provincials and won some awards.
Oh, there you go.
But I can bring that forward to the 4-Hers.
Yeah, and they need
part of
to put that as part of their registration package. Great. Hopefully they do. So we have one volunteer that is going to be responsible for setting up that display building, and she'll oversee any other volunteers that are willing to work or be greeters, so to speak. But within this ag community, I think we need to be looking for specific volunteers that'll be specifically in that area, that one area. So Amy, any ideas?
Are you considering asking for people to be like similar to your volunteer overseeing the whole building or just to work the booths? So the food security society-
I think they should just be working the booths.
Okay.
Yeah.
Generally, I think the way that we worked it in the past, I'm always there for the ACRD. I'm there basically for the duration. That is my weekend at the fall fair, is hanging out in the stifling heat, which is always a pleasure. And the Food Security Society leverages their volunteers, and then the Farmers Institute, there's always members from the Farmers Institute at their table as well. But I wanted to ask, while I have this chance, do we have to submit a registration package as well?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, just 4-H.
Okay.
No, and I do have passes for all your volunteers, so, okay,
When's the deadline to let you know how many passes we need or how many volunteers?
whatever.
Just so we know?
Yeah,
Okay.
just, yeah, when you know. Also, we are moving forward with our brochure that I talked about at the last meeting. And AV Food Security is working out the content for us. And ACRD has gratefully said that they will do the map, update the map. And I'm working with hopefully Doc Plus to come on as a partner. So, yeah. And they'll be done prior to the fair. They'll be hopefully done before that. There, but Anna needs to talk on this because
Yeah,
it's her
but Sarah
committee
gets-
is doing all the work.
I was just gonna say Sarah had her hand up first and then I'll go to Anna.
We have, the Spirit Square has a board meeting next week, which will confirm our desire to have a booth in that building. Last year we did it and we actually tried to educate that there were 2 farmers markets in town to include the other. I did not receive any confirmation from them that they were okay with that, but I just assumed it was fine. So it'd be great. I don't know if you've reached out to the Port Alberni Farmers Market for them to have any information down there, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be down there and work with a collaborative group of volunteers. And I'm encouraging the Doc Plus to come down too, even if they can't supply lots of volunteers. Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, the Doc Plus has always given us material to distribute in the Fall Fair building or had a bit of a step display. In terms of the Farmgate brochure, Stephanie there is now an online fillable form that can be found on our website at www.abfood.ca/farm stand. It's very simple. There's so many farm stands popping up all over the place. It's ridiculous. So Stephanie and I have met, and I talked to Anne too, because we really need to change the format and we're going to use icons. So I would just highly encourage folks, if you see anyone with a farm, or write down their address and email it to me. I will send my summer student out to take notes, drop off the physical paper copy that we have for them. I don't like to necessarily put people's farm stand on something that's given out to the public. Have people tell me off when I've asked if they wanted to be included. So it is important that there's a little, even though it's at the end of their driveway, but it's important that we have the knowledge of where these places are. So if you guys know of anything, please just email me an address and I'll send one to do yeah, there's some on your road, Sarah. 3. Yeah, there's 3 on my road now too. So yeah. Yeah, that's it on the farms.
That was it for my report.
Thanks, Anne. Any questions for Anne? Seeing none, Anna, you are up for the Alberni Valley Food Security Society.
Yeah, I think the only additional item I have is just to say that Family Farm Day is all coming together as it always does. And yeah, that's it. We're doing good. We have picked over 1,400 pounds of cherries in the valley. Transportation is a huge issue of our equipment to sites. This is such a headache, and my husband's really sick of me volunteering all my time driving equipment around. So we need someone who just likes to drive a trailer.
Sorry, guys, wrong button. Did anybody have any questions for Anna on that? Penny, go for it.
Who got the Edna Cox bursary?
If I could remember the name off the top of my head, I didn't have it done, and I have a picture of them. I know it went out on our social media post, but they were the most suitable applicant. And I think moving forward, we're gonna have to discuss how we do the bursary because we actually got put on the hook for, there was a discrepancy between what the high school, what we thought was in the coffers and then what the high school ended up telling us was in the coffers for the bursary. So, but yeah, I think foundations are a better way to go.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, moving on to Eat West Coast, we've got Erica online.
Hi everyone, I'm gonna leave my video off just because I'm on the road with mediocre Wi-Fi. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I have one item I'd love to bring that I think would be important to this committee. And it's following up a little bit on, for sure, last meeting, but a few others in the past as well, regarding the use of lands, leasing, grants when regional district, municipal, or public lands are used for food security purposes in the interest of the community. So I'm coming to you in partnership with Louise Rogers from Tofino Farms. She's prepared some notes that I'll read to you from her. And I'm hoping this is for information, and then maybe I'm hoping a little bit of brainstorming around the issue. So this is from Louise Rogers. And Louise has had the pleasure of owning and operating Tofino Farms out of the ACRD's Long Beach Airport lands, where she has been producing in greenhouses for the last 4 years. Louise would like to share with you that she will be presenting at the ACRD Board of Directors meeting on September 3rd to seek reasonable lease costs for any agricultural activity on Long Beach Airport lands. The lease rate last year quadrupled. Providing a reasonable lease for farmers would be a very tangible, easy way for the ACRD to support local food production, the ACRD agriculture strategies, increase employment, and provide food security. So that was from Louise. And I just thought I'd share that this is a quadrupling of a lease is fairly significant, in particular when it was the farm itself that did all of the land clearing, preparation, water hookups. This does make a significant cut into their bottom line for operations for what they're producing. And yeah, it would be quite a shame to lose that infrastructure that's been developed. And it's also going to be negative in encouraging greater expansion of food production on those lands. And to be honest, there's very little else that can be done with those lands because of the airport there and the nature of the topography. So it's really for information for this committee that Louise will be on September 3rd at the meeting to discuss the issue of the lease. I mean, if the farm wasn't there, that land would not be being used for anything else. And right now, she and I are just in the process of gaining support from other organizations on the coast, whether they're in food or health or community, to support this. So yeah, it's either just for information, but if any ideas or thoughts or ways this committee would be able to assist with this would be really, really helpful. So I'll turn it over if anyone has questions or ideas.
Awesome, thanks, Erica. We could hear you loud and clear on there. I see Fred's got his hand up for you.
I think that's a great idea that you're growing food on the airport. We got a big flat airport over in Port Alberni that has a lot of free land that's lit to use that there is nothing being done yet. And maybe that could be used for in the future. So just a thing to think about. Thanks.
Thanks, Fred. Does anybody else have any comments or questions for Erica while she's on the line? Penny, go for it.
Just like to say that meeting on the 3rd is the West Coast. It's not the board. West Coast.
Okay, so Erica,
Yes, thank you.
yeah, just clarification, that's the West Coast Committee meeting.
Yeah, yes, sorry, thank you. Yeah, Louise didn't have that in her notes, but yes, I know that.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Anybody else with anything for Erica? Yeah, Amy, go for it.
Erica, I just wanted to ask, you had tried to submit your update in writing, but there was no attachment on your email. So I was hoping if you had a chance, when you get back in the office, if you can try forwarding it again and attaching the report, then we can try and make sure it gets into the minutes. Thanks.
I will do. By the time you told me, I was in the middle of nowhere. This is the first, so I apologize. I will resend it. I can
No
do it.
worries.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Okay, we're going to move on to the Spirit Square Farmers Market from Sarah Reimer.
Nothing too exciting. The market's underway. We have some new members, new farmers. We would love to have always more egg producers and meat producers with the BC Farmers Market Nutrition Coupon Program. Currently, there's only one supplier of meat at the market, which is awesome and good for their business, not good for diversity of protein for our customers. So Sprout Lake Farm with their pork and rabbit and quail had been coming down, but now they're busy because they are processing. They've got a license to process their own birds and stuff. And actually, they have a Farm Gate Plus license. And they actually did chicken for my farm, which was awesome. I didn't have to drive out of town. What amazing asset for the community, but they're very limited because they work full-time jobs because all the things cost blah, 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 2 full-time jobs, and they're working on the weekends processing. So they're not down at the farmer's market this year. So that's a big loss. So we'd love to have other people. And if the Farmers Institute could one day come down and maybe have a summer student bring stuff from all their members, that'd be amazing one day. And yeah, nothing more to report. We're looking for a market manager because I did not want to commit to it, but here I am. So I think there should be some difference between the president and the market manager. I shouldn't be doing both. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but no market manager, no market. So that's where we're at.
Thanks, Sarah. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Sarah? Seeing none, we'll roll down to the Port Authority. Cecilia.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I don't have much more to mention other than what was in the report. Just noting that it's a very busy time of year for us, but we had a little bit of a breather last week with commercial fisheries being at capacity and taking a step back, which is good for escapement, we hope. So ice is up and running and looking good. So it's available even for farming needs. So remember that we are here for you. And we brought on another member at the kitchen yesterday who is a Harbor Key tenant doing gelato. Their business is Munch. I don't know if they want me to share, but they're going to do a soft opening this weekend and hope to do a grand opening next weekend. So keep an eye out for them because that's very exciting. I'm loving to see all the new creative products that are coming through and all of the beautiful ideas that are going to be coming into the valley. So yeah, Dock Plus is very busy. The harbor is very busy, and hard to believe that we're halfway through summer.
Awesome. Thank you. Any questions or comments for Cecilia? Seeing none. Katie, I have you up next from the Coastal Foods Roundtable and Tofino Community Food Initiative.
Hi, everyone. Well, it's a good growing season on the West Coast. A lot of home gardeners, and then the few growers that we have, like Louise from Tofino Farms, and people who are growing on a slightly larger scale in their homes, are just having a good year this year, and people are excited about pulling their garlic up soon, and it's just been really nice to see. There's a lot of connection going on around growing out here right now. Something exciting that's been happening is that the school out at Ahousaht, the Maktusi school, has like revitalized their garden program. You can see on Instagram if you're interested what they're doing, but they've put up a greenhouse. They're growing tons of food. They've got, peppers and strawberries, and just decided to try all sorts of things. And they're running a lot of workshops that are involving elders and youth, and transplanting workshops and seeding workshops and, greenhouse workshops. So that's going really well, and it's exciting for them. And the District of Tofino is also running for the first time this year, like a garden focused camp for kids that sold out immediately that I'm helping with next week, where we're getting kids into gardens and into the kitchen, cooking food from the gardens. So there's just a lot of great effort being put into educating like young people out here about food. The adults who are growing food are doing pretty good this season. The Culinary Guild is busy, and out of Bamfield, the report was that, you know, the school garden's doing all right, and then they're just looking forward to continuing, you know, in the fall, and that they're working on it throughout the summer. But lots of good stuff. We don't have the same as you all, but we're happy to be connected and inspired, and everyone's real happy that stone fruit is coming in from the Okanagan right now for the first time since of course, everyone experienced not having it last year. So that's all from me.
Thanks, Katie. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Katie? No? Okay. Oh, Penny, go for it.
Sorry. The regional district had our board meeting, in Banfield, last month before. And we got to visit the community school and check out their garden. And it's amazing what they've got going, and it's just amazing. So, we also, visited the seafood. Yeah, but there's a little seafood process that they grow, Nova Harvest, yeah. So we visited there as well. So, yeah, it's amazing things that are happening in Banfield. Just wanted to.
Absolutely.
See, we saw that.
Amazing. Okay, thank you. So Patty from 4-H, I understand, is not here today. Yes. Yeah, she did submit a report. If anybody hasn't had a chance to read that yet, it is in your agenda package. Do we have any marine stakeholders here today? I don't think so. And then down to primary agriculture producers, I myself submitted a report. It's in the agenda, basically talked about the culinary events on our farm. Update since I submitted that is that we've had to cancel our gather and graze event for this summer in August. Disappointing, but the chef had scheduling conflicts, so we drew the short end of the stick. So I have been undoing the work for that this past week. But our appetizer night happening July 26th is still a go, and I still have tickets. And actually Erica's on the call. Her partner, Marty, is assisting Silly's from Grassroots with the food for that one. So it should be fantastic food and quite a bit of seafood on that one too this time. So that's exciting. The guys are busy tedding and baling hay when I left the farm today. But other than that, not much new from Shannon Farms. Any other producers here with any reports?
I just wanted to mention that our lettuce mix from our farm was in your lunch today. From Grassroots, we supply them with our lettuce mix, so just a little tidbit.
It was delicious. Thank you, Sarah. Sorry, Lisa, did I see that you've got something to add?
Yeah, just to say that I represented the BC Cattlemen Meet a Rancher at Save On Food June 21st, I believe it was. And that went really well. There was a lot of people wanting to support locally grown product, not necessarily the store. So it was actually good for me. I handed out lots of business cards and have a lot of inquiries and future purchases happening. Thanks.
Fantastic. Anyone else? Anna, go for it.
I would just like to say, like, I didn't make it to the farmer's market much last year, but this season I've gone quite a bit. Moved a phenomenal amount of plants, bedding starter plants, veggies. And then every time I go to the market, I might go home with a bundle of kale. Like 20 pounds of rhubarb goes like boom, gone. Like it's quite, yeah. I've changed my mindset. I'm like, bring everything to the market. And then what I don't sell is what I keep, because I've always been the other way around, but there's not 7 of us in the house. So it's working quite well, and I've been amazed. And it's as soon as that coupon program starts up again, it's even more so, because I really noticed it started a month, 2 months late this year. And yeah, but it's nice to see it running. But and everyone because I'm part of the Growers Collective, we all are feeling the same. Like it's a very good year. The public is really out there and supporting farmers.
That's fantastic. Anyone else? No. Helen, go for it.
I just have a question for the producers. Why do you think it's going so well? Is it because the community wants to support local, or is there something else? Just curious as to how that helps me with the understanding.
There's a lot of new people to town, and I think the people that come from the larger centers are just so excited about local produce and the ease of access to it, and wanting to make those connections or those stories. I mean, obviously you guys know I talk too much, so but I have a lot of fun at farmers market. It's Comedy Central in my corner. So
Is it anything to do with cost?
I have to say, I was like, I can't sell for $5 a pound. That is ludicrous. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because I sold it for $3, maybe $4 a pound. And then I looked and I was like, I can't undercut all my neighbors. People don't blink an eye. So I would say the prices are on par with what you're getting in the grocery store. Doesn't have all the, hasn't been vacuum packed CO2, like, oh yeah, been transported. There's nothing quite the same as when I pick my berries. I pick them at 5 o'clock in the morning, that day. They taste better than the ones in the clamshells.
I've got Lisa, then Wayne.
Yeah, I would say the same as Anna. A lot of people are newer people that have moved from bigger centers. They're trying to source locally grown. Typically things that are locally grown don't have antibiotics or hormones or it's locally grown. The hay is grown here, grass fed. The nutritional value, people are educating themselves on what they're eating, and price. Actually, we realize that we're actually lower than what we should be. So we need to take a look at our pricing again. But people are looking for quality, and they're willing to pay for it. Thanks.
On the matter of cost, in my grain business, being all over Vancouver Island, and my product was a fairly expensive grain product. It's all certified organic, heritage, ancient grains. And I've noticed in the last couple of years, nobody is ever complaining about cost anymore. They're looking for quality. And so I think the realization that good food is what they need and they're willing to pay for it. So I used to get a lot of customers. Oh my God, I can get it at Costco for like half that price. I never heard anybody talk like that for the last couple of years. So I think there's a big change in the way people perceive the value of food. So
I would comment also on when people come to the farmers market, the food lasts longer. So you could buy lettuce at, Walmart, and it might die in 2 days. Our lettuce is good for 2 weeks. So you're really getting better value from the money you're spending because you can use that food longer. And people really notice that, in addition to wanting to, they know exactly where their foods come from, like Lisa's Meats or, all the plants. People wanting to buy their own plants, grow their own garden, and also appreciate just how hard it is to produce food yourself. That it's not just throw it in there, woohoo, I get food, right? There's a greater appreciation, certainly, for that.
On average, there's one new family a day moving into Port Alberni. We subscribe to Neighborhood Welcome, so they deliver packages to the newcomers, and I'm thrilled at their statistics, and people are moving from all over. Lots from larger centers for sure, but lots from other places as well. And it just occurred to me that if we're not already in their basket of goodies that they deliver to community members, that we might be putting in more information about all of the agricultural organizations, farms, entities, days that would go to them. Now, they're charging us, I think, $5 per person. But if you're getting potentially 30 new customers a month, that's a reasonable investment. And I'm sure we could negotiate a deal with them that would see invitations going out on other fronts. So anecdotally, about half of the newcomers are younger families. They don't ask ages, but they let us know by who they're meeting at the door when they deliver the package. And we're also getting that information from doctors' offices, dentist offices, hardware stores, coffee shops, just pretty much everywhere you go, people are letting us know, hey, we're seeing new people in the community. And so it's an exciting time. Yes, there are people leaving the community as well. But on average, there are more people coming in than going out. People going out are going out to school, or they're going out for jobs, or they want to be in a different community. But on average, we're way ahead of the game, and one new family a day is a phenomenal stat for us.
On that note about the neighborhood welcome, the growers guide would be an amazing addition to that basket if we could find some sort of community sponsor to pay for that. Like, this has been provided by, courtesy of Home Hardware or something like that. To have the growers guide and that neighborhood welcome would do us all great favor, and the new people to the community.
I know the farm gate will be in that because we belong to the neighborhood welcome. So, and the previous one had been in, they had supplied that in their basket, but for sure the new one will be. And I agree with the reports that come out once a month. It's phenomenal where these people come from and who's coming into the valley. Just a note, last year we had 226 new exhibitors, brand new, never exhibited before. Now, I don't know whether they were in the home arts or the flowers and baking, etc. But 218, that was pretty phenomenal. So I'm quite interested in finding out how many this year, how many more start coming out.
Fantastic. It's great news all around. I'm going to keep moving on here, guys. So we are on a timeline. I appreciate all the conversation. But I'm going to be looking for somebody to move that the ADC committee accept the reports A to O for information.
So moved.
Thanks, Anne. Second, Cecilia. Thank you. All in favor? Amazing. Thanks, guys. Do we have any late business? Sarah.
I'm not sure what falls in the agenda, but a couple of meetings ago, we talked about featuring the Alberni Valley at the agricultural ag show. And I'm just wondering, are we making any movement forward on that?
Thank you for bringing that up. So people are devilishly difficult to get a hold of during summer. And so I've resigned myself to the fact that the people who volunteered for the committee will be being contacted by me in September, and we'll get moving on what we want to do for that, because the Islands Agriculture Show is happening the end of January.
Yes, and I feel like having caterers or whatever are booking up now. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll just wait to hear on that one then. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Sarah. Question period, Kristen. Oh, Penny, yeah.
So, with the Island Egg Show, wouldn't they need to know before September? It would, about, they already. Oh, okay, yeah, oh, okay.
Was it for 2026 or 2027?
It was 2026. Yeah. So it's something along the lines of like a taste of Alberni Valley, but it's completely open to whoever wants to showcase their products. So generally there's some selections of cider, some alcoholic selections, but other drinks would probably be welcome as well. And then a taste of different things that come out of the Alberni Valley that are produced here. The organizer of the Islands Agriculture Show particularly is attached to the Alberni Valley because generally we showcase seafood, and that's always very exciting.
So then, Amy, to clarify, you're waiting to hear from the Island Egg Show regarding budget or guidance for the committee, or
no, it's on us now to anytime the committee wants to meet, we can meet, but I'm literally counting down minutes to my own vacation here. So I probably won't be here for if you want to meet within the next 3 weeks. But if the people who are volunteered for that committee, if you remember who you were, it's Anne, it's Tanya, was Anna, and I believe it was Star. As well, and Sarah, if you wanted to meet to start talking about options or securing people that want to showcase their products, then yeah, that can happen 100% anytime committee wants to meet. Subcommittee.
okay, then on that note, can we maybe get it? Amy, could you send an email out to that subcommittee just as a reminder? Because I haven't even thought about the Island Egg Show. And
yes, I certainly can.
Thank you.
Along with a contact info for the egg person there that would tell us budget, what they're picturing, space, blah, 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 blah.
I can contact her for that because, yeah, sure. So I can do that.
Fantastic. Okay. Moving on to question period. Kristen, any questions or comments from the public?
There's no participants in the boardroom and no questions in the Zoom or on the email.
Okay, before we look for the motion to adjourn, I will just note that our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 18th at 12:45 p.m. here in the boardroom or online. So it's another hybrid meeting. And do we have anybody who's willing to make the motion to adjourn? Thanks, Wayne. Seconder? I can't do it. I'm the chair. Thanks, Cecilia. All in favor? Amazing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks for coming out.
everyone.
Have a great afternoon.